All right, let's get to him. One of the great baseball writers, USA Today, Bob Nightengale, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Bob, good afternoon. How we doing?
Yeah, doing good, thanks.
Good, man. Thanks for coming on here today. You know, when I reached out to you earlier today, obviously I had no idea about what was going to go down with Emmanuel Clase, but just kind of worked out for us anyway to have you on and to explore what the Guardians now are dealing with. And we'll get to the Hall of Fame inductions and we'll get to the deadline and some other things before we let you go. But gosh, I mean, Luis Ortiz under investigation. Now it's Emmanuel Clase under investigation by MLB. If you're the Guardians, Bob, what are you doing now? What are you going to do?
Well, I mean, huge loss. I mean, obviously, they were trying to get back in the race, everything else, especially with Detroit Tigers struggles. And now it's like, two body blows, particularly Class A,
Mm-hmm.
One of the best relievers in baseball. And, of all the names tied with, gambling investigations, he might be the biggest since Pete Rose.
That is amazing. And I'm starting to wonder now as we went on the air at 3:00 today, with this whole MLB investigation, I don't know who everybody's talking to, who's filling out the questionnaires, who's being interviewed on camera. I'm not privy to all that stuff, but I'm thinking, could this be a situation where maybe Luis Ortiz maybe was asked some things and he maybe rolled on Clase and now they're coming after him? Was it the other way around? Or those two, could they be joined at the hip as far as this? We don't know. There's so many unanswered questions, but I just have to wonder now, is this going to get a whole lot worse throughout MLB before it gets a whole lot better with this, with the situation with the gambling and the betting and the legalization of it? And guys are still, Bob, they're still making some very questionable decisions.
No, they are. But yeah, certainly his name came up during the investigation, or else they would have, said we're going to investigate both originally on July 3rd, and they didn't. So obviously someone mentioned his name, and, it makes sense that it was Ortiz that said that. So, yeah, I mean, they're two very, very close friends, if not best of friends. So, yeah, no, it's a shame. I mean, I think baseball has opened itself up to, Pandora's box by, legalizing gambling and talking about, they have all these sponsorships. You can't watch a game now without people talking about the gambling odds. So they're asking for big time trouble. And who knows what's going on? I mean, you got all kinds of people involved, like, clubhouse attendants, trainers, bat boys that know who's going to be the starting lineup, who isn't, that sort of thing. So they've been asking for a lot of trouble. And, we've already lost one umpire for life with Pat Holberg, who was, as good as any umpire behind the plate. And now, you're talking about one of the premier closers of baseball.
Bob Nightengale is our guest, outstanding baseball reporter for USA Today, joining us here on 1310 WDP. We only got Bob for about 5 more minutes, so we're gonna go rapid fire here. So if you're the Guardians now, you're 52-53. You lost a little bit of an opportunity for some momentum. You dropped 2 out of 3 in Kansas City. Now the Rockies are coming in. It's a series you almost have to sweep. I forget who coined it. You got to, split with the good guys. You got to beat the bums. They really should sweep Colorado here. The wild card is still in play. Bob, I was in Detroit Friday night watching the Blue Jays and the Tigers, and gosh, they lost 3 out of 4 to Toronto. They're in a little bit of a skid. I don't think Cleveland can catch them. But as far as the wild card is concerned, and now the situation now, Chris Antonetti, they got to figure out. They brought Kate Smith up today. They brought another closer up today from Columbus. So they're going to go with those guys in the pen. As far as other pitching, and Shane Bieber's going to get a start in Akron tomorrow night for rehab. So they got him maybe in about 2 or 3 weeks. But if you're looking to add, is it a stick first, or now do you have to look at maybe bringing an arm in?
Well, you probably have to look at an arm for sure. Certainly, what they're going to do at the trade deadline is they're going to trade Smith and they're going to trade Clase. Now those plans are over. It's a massive setback, particularly for the season. You can go get some relievers and stuff in the off season, but with all these big time contenders looking for the top relievers in the game, I can't see Cleveland dipping that market. So I don't think they can do anything realistically to compensate for this kind of loss.
If you could climb inside the under the hat of Stephen Vogt, maybe what's going through his mind right now?
Just like, hey, what's happening here? I'm sure they had another lecture to the players, like, what are you guys doing here? You realize the ramifications. I mean, there's two guys, particularly I say, might throw their entire career away. And you can say, oh, pretend like it's an injury, we can overcome it. Yeah, but it's late in the game now. You only got 3 days for the trade deadline. You know, considering Cleveland's still under 500, it's hard to say, oh, we're going to be really aggressive here. Knowing that they're still getting a long shot to make the playoffs.
Bob Nightengale is our guest. A couple more quick ones, and we'll let you go, Bob, and we really appreciate your time. As far as the trade deadline, Major League Baseball-wise, who do you think makes the biggest splash, if anybody?
Well, I think the AL East. I still think the Yankees making their big splash. They already got McMahon from Colorado. I think again they're a starter, another reliever. I think the Toronto Blue Jays, they got everybody excited now. They got to go get a reliever and a starter. Just because it's going to be a massive disappointment if they didn't make the playoffs or if they go out early. I think Seattle, you can't waste that pitching staff once again. I think they have no choice but, hey, go for this thing, because with that pitching, you can do anything. So I think those teams jump out. I think the Cubs have to do something to make sure that that they finish ahead of Brewers at least and get the division title for a better seed. So those teams are probably the most aggressive, I think.
Bob, one before we let you go, Cooperstown over the weekend, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. We're very happy, very proud of Tom Hamilton, who went in with the Ford C. Frick Broadcasters Award. Of course, the great class of CC and Billy Wagner, Ichiro, and of course, posthumously going in Dave Parker and Dick Allen. I know they had to dodge some weather yesterday, but what was it like in Cooperstown?
No, great experience. I mean, I think probably more people came to see CC than anybody. But in Tom Hamilton's, he did an unbelievable speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best speeches I've ever heard. And but yeah, he had a great audience and support system in the auditorium there. Everybody's got screaming his name and chanting. He looked embarrassed by it. It was cool to see, how many Cleveland fans, there were just to support Hamilton and of course Sabathia. It was a great, great weekend for Guardians baseball. Then it was fun too to see and Mark Shapiro shows up, besides Chris Antonetti, Mike Hargrove shows up and Jim Thome talks. So yeah, it was a big weekend for Cleveland baseball.
Pretty cool. All right, Bob, I promised you we'd be out of here by 5:24. I've somehow miraculously kept my promise. Thank you for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you soon down the road. I always appreciate it.
All right, look forward to it. Thank you.
There he goes. Bob Nightengale, USA Today baseball writer, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN.